Hey, what's up, everybody? I had a chance to catch the first episode of Netflix's new show, Wednesday, which follows the adventures of Wednesday Addams from the Addams family. So, I know what you're all thinking. Was it creepy, kooky, mysterious, and spooky, altogether ooky? Stay tuned and find out.
I think I'm going to love it here.
So when I heard that they were coming out with this series based off of Wednesday Addams, I thought, oh, that's an interesting take, something that doesn't have to necessarily follow the Addams family per se, but what if you follow one of the more intriguing characters within the Addams family? Now, of course, if you're a big fan of the two Addams family movies that came out in the 90s, you know that Wednesday Addams was probably more of the beloved characters within the family there. The relationship and dynamic she had with Pugsley and all that stuff like that, and how she was very morbid in the way she acted. And I think a lot of that had to do with the acting of Christina Ricci, right? So now taking that concept and moving it forward to, I guess, a more mature Wednesday Addams as she finds herself going to high school, led to an interesting premise. Then I heard Tim Burton was attached to it. And I'm like, uh-oh, I don't know about this, because let's be honest, Tim Burton, even though he's done some wonderful stuff, Edward Scissorhands, Pee-wee, and all that stuff like that. As of recently, his stuff has been very hit or miss, and I think a lot of it had to do with that there was just too much Tim Burton in his movies. So my fear going into this is that, is this going to be overwhelmingly Tim Burton as far as looks, style, the wackiness, and all the things like that? And I'm happy to say that it's actually not. I actually found myself surprisingly hooked on this after just watching one episode. And I have to say the main reason why that is because of Jenna Ortega. Now, I'm not so familiar with Jenna's work or anything like that, but I did see her recently when I watched the latest A24 movie X, where she has this small part in it, but I thought she did a pretty good job. She definitely has that presence on screen that kind of captures your attention. The way she looks into the camera, the way she looks at you and all that. But my main problem, and maybe this is just a me thing, is that she's a very attractive girl. So even though you put the Wednesday Addams persona on, the pale skin, the hair, the dress, and all that, I look at her not as a freak, but as a kind of cute girl. So I found myself kind of conflicted in trying to figure out, like, well, why do people find her freakish and all that? Then you see her personality and her acting, and wow, she really embodied and captured the soul of Wednesday Addams. The way she looks at life, the way she treats her brother Pugsley, the way she just treats people around her. She always has something to say, and it's always something that's very morbid. And it is in its own way very charming. And I love the kind of premise where she can never stay in a school, right? Especially the public education system. So they have to find a way to get her to go to school. So they take her to this private school that Morticia and Gomez went to, and where they met. Now, speaking of Morticia and Gomez, it's being played by Catherine Zeta-Jones and Luis Guzman. Just the way they look, you at one point will wonder, well, how the hell did those two get together? It's a very different dynamic, especially with Catherine Zeta-Jones looking as gorgeous as ever with her Morticia outfit and the persona there, and Luis Guzman looking like Luis Guzman, right? But if you are familiar with the comic strip that this was all originally based on, then I feel like this is a better adaptation and representation of the characters within that strip than the movies were. Because the movies, I thought, did take some liberties. I mean, Raul Julia is a very good looking dude, very suave and debonair, and this version of Gomez seems to be the same, but we don't get to see enough of how suave and debonair he can be. But you can see that there's love there, but the main thing is that they're being parents, and they're really struggling with the way that Wednesday is just causing a lot of ruckus and having so much issues, and all they really want to do is have Wednesday grow up and go to a decent school where she could just, further her education and further her life. Isaac Ordonez plays Pugsley Addams, and again, they have that great rapport between the brother and sister there. They had this really, really cute scene where he's going off to school, and he's like, you're not gonna survive without me. I expect you to be dead in 2 months. And his retort was like, I'm gonna miss you too, sis. And I thought that was so cute. I really do like the fact that now we're dealing with a full Hispanic Latino family here. And I love the representation there. Christina Ricci is involved in this series. She kind of plays like the den mother, where she she makes sure that everyone within the school in the dormitory is taken care of. Gwendolyn Christie is also there as the head mistress of the school itself, who's always keeping that close eye on Wednesday, knowing her history and all that. So there's definitely some interesting back and forth between the two, but so interesting how Gwendolyn Christie is now in another Netflix show because she was brilliant in The Sandman. So it's nice to see her in this series as well. Like I said, I got hooked because of Jenna Ortega's acting. Like, she really captured my attention, and I love her interaction with the students. I love her interactions with the people that she meets, and the directing is not overwhelmingly Tim Burton. Like, for most people who are watching this show in the beginning, you probably wouldn't even realize it's a Tim Burton production. Not only did Tim Burton create this series, but he also directed this first episode. And I'm really shocked and surprised how it wasn't just bleeding Tim Burton. There are certain moments where you do catch some of the Burtonisms, and there's a bigger thing at the end of this episode where you get confronted with this creature that looks almost like something out of Beetlejuice. Of course, I don't want to spoil the plot or anything like that. I'm just saying that certain things are there, but there is an overlying plot. What will make Wednesday stay in this school for once? You know, she's expected to break out. She's never happy where she is. She hates dealing with people and all that, but she finds out that there's something interesting about this school and the surrounding town that she's close by. It piques her morbid curiosity, hence that's why she wants to stay in school. You'll have to watch more to learn all about this yourself. As far as other Addams Family members that return, yes, Lurch is there as the loyal butler servant. And yes, we do have Thing as well, who is a very close part of the family as always, and is kind of there to look after Wednesday. Now, if you've read the news and you've catched some of the other trailers that came out for this show, you'll know that Uncle Fester does show up, but he doesn't show up in this episode. So I don't know how that reveal is like. Again, we only got treated to one episode, but I will say this. Everyone in attendance of this screening wanted more. As soon as the episode ended, people were screaming for episode 2, and they didn't give it to us. Most times when they have screenings like this, especially for a brand new show, they will show you the first 2 episodes, or if it's a pilot, the pilot is usually much longer than a regular episode. This episode clocked in about an hour, so I don't know if each other following episode will be 30 minutes or if we'll stick to the 1 hour format. But the good sign is it got us wanting more, and I think those are good signs of a show that is worth watching. I will also say at first I was kind of concerned because I thought they were going to go towards maybe a more young adult crowd with this, especially you're dealing with schools and students and kind of like that coming of age type of story, but it didn't really feel that way to me. I feel like this is a type of show that can cater to all different types of audiences. However, I will say this though, and I know there are a lot of people out there who are so attached to those 2 movies. I mean, how can you not be? Those 2 movies were brilliantly done and brilliantly casted and brilliantly acted, and the stories were fun and enjoyable and all that. This is a different take on the Addams Family. Like I've already mentioned, a lot of the family members are casted in a different way that maybe more mirrors and mimics the comic strip. The kids are a little bit older. Wednesday does act a little bit more mature, so it's not that little Christina Ricci that we're all used to. So I will say, put those movies out of your head and approach this brand new. I kind of went in with that same mentality, understanding that this is probably not going to be the same as the movies, and I think that's one of the main reasons why I actually appreciated it more. Because if you're too attached to these movies and you're hoping and expecting things to pick up right exactly where those movies left off, then you, I think, will be very disappointed by that. Now, we do have kind of a little wait for the series to debut on Netflix, but I am definitely adding this to my queue, and I can't wait for this series to launch so that I could watch the rest of the episodes and really see how I feel about it. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what I think. I am so curious to hear what all of you think out there. Is this a series that you're looking forward to? Are you a fan of Jenna Ortega? Let me know what you think about her in this role. Let me know if you just like the Addams Family in general. Like, were you a fan of the movies? I want to hear all about that, so let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation about all of that stuff. If you're brand new to the channel, don't forget, hit that like and subscribe buttons. It doesn't cost you a thing. Show your appreciation and love, and it will greatly help with the building of this channel and the growing of this community. Appreciate all of you tuning in. Stay cool, stay classy, stay safe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, y'all.